my name is Jenna and today I'm here to do my December wrap up for 2020. In December I read 3 books and I managed to hit my Goodreads reading challenge of 52 books for the year, so I'm pretty happy about that. So the first book that I read in December was the Sidekicks by Kostakis. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. So this book follows these 3 friends whose best friend dies and the 3 of them never really interacted with each other apart from when they were with this other person, so now they are all trying to get through their grief together, figure out what happened when he died and sort of figure out how to move on with their lives. It was a really, really good book. I highly enjoyed it. There wasn't a lot that happened though, and we did sort of backtrack a bit because we were reading from 3 different characters' points of view. We were going with one character, then another, and honestly the whole time I was reading this, all I could think about was how eerily similar it is to the YA contemporary that I had written the month before having read this book or really knowing what it was about. So that weirded me out a lot. I read almost all of Kostakis' books in 2020. I think there's only 2 that I haven't read now, and I really did enjoy them. I think he's a fantastic writer. I enjoyed this one a lot and I am looking forward to reading some more from him. I think this one, where it sort of let me down is the fact that no, there wasn't a lot that happened, and the fact that we did keep going backwards in the timeline. I think that where this book let me down is the fact that there wasn't a lot that happened and I never really felt connected to any of the characters or really felt their grief for Isaac. So I think that's sort of where this book let me down, but overall it was one that I did really enjoy. Second book that I read this month was The Cousins by Karen and McManus. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. This book centers around these 3 cousins who go to visit their grandma who they have never met before. This grandma cut off their parents when they were 18 and none of them have ever been back to the island before. So when the 3 cousins receive a mysterious invitation asking them to come and join their summer program, they go and not really sure what to expect. This one was fantastic. Karen and McManus is definitely a modern day Agatha Christie and I am in love with her books. This one might even be my favorite of what I have read so far. I feel horrible, but I didn't guess a single thing that was coming. So every time a reveal happened, I sort of went, but what? Especially the end reveal, because they basically give you all of the clues and all of the stuff. They pretty much are pointing neon signs like this is the answer, and I still didn't pick up on it. So I think she's a fantastic writer and I'm so thrilled that I got to read this one. And then the third book that I read this month is a book that I started all the way back in September and only finally finished it because it was so dull and so boring that I put it down for like the longest time, and that is The Other Side of the Sky by Amie, Kaufman and Meagan. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. So this book is told from dual points of views. It follows Nim, who is a goddess living below, and North, who is living in the clouds in this city. He falls from the clouds and meets Nim down below, and the 2 of them have to figure out this prophecy that they both appear to be a part of. The book, I don't really know how to describe this one. So the book had a really great premise. That premise sounds awesome. There was a lot of talk about the difference between magic and science and how North kept thinking that all of the magic down below was just science and Nim kept thinking that all of the science up above was just magic, and they really did play with that really well. The romance-ish that we got between Nim and North was also done really well because they can't actually touch each other. Because of Nim's divinity, she's not allowed to touch people. So it was those sorts of things were really cool. But overall, the book just wasn't great. So the first like 300 or so pages, pretty much nothing happens, and that was incredibly boring. And the fact that nothing happened, and yet in their first series that they wrote, the entire first book is just these 2 characters wandering across a deserted planet together, and somehow that was more enjoyable than this. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. Once we hit like the 300-ish page mark, things started happening and I started to get really invested in the story, but I pushed through and got to page 300. A lot of people only give books 50 to 100 pages now, and if I was one of those people, I absolutely would have put this book down. I am glad that I didn't though, because I did really enjoy the final part of the book, and I'm curious enough that I do want to read the sequel to sort of see where it all wraps up. But I think this book for me suffered from pacing issues. It suffered from being really boring at the beginning, and I didn't love the characters as well. Like Nim and North, they were both alright, but they both had a lot of flaws, and quite a lot of flaws that I really struggled to look past. So I feel like one of the reasons I didn't love this story as much is because I wasn't in love with the characters. So all in all, 3 out of 5 stars. Still did enjoy it, still would pick up the sequel, but it's not my favorite book that I have read, and definitely not my favorite from these authors. So there you go, that is my wrap up for December of 2020, and normally this is where I would do my January TBR. However, in 2020, I have decided that I'm not doing a TBR. I have tried so many times to make TBRs for various things, whether that be readathons, monthly TBRs, and I just always feel really constricted. I hate making decisions. I hate this idea that I have so many books on my shelf, and yeah, I'm a little bit of a mood reader and I just don't ever feel like making a decision, so I get stuck with what to read next and I end up in reading slumps. So if any of you watch my movie wrap-ups, you would know that I created a tin. And in that tin, I put all the shows that I really want to watch, and I pull out a new show every month and watch it. I've kind of done the same thing with my TBR this year. So I have two tins. I have a Spider-Man tin and a Captain Marvel tin. The Spider-Man tin is full of all of my standalone novels that I have on my shelf, and the Captain Marvel tin is full of the series, so the first book in a series that I have. And the plan is to pull out a book from one of these tins and then read it, and then when I finish, pull out another one. So the standalone tin is super self-explanatory. It's just standalone novels, and also I think there are some books in here, like if I've only got one book left in a series, that's probably in here. I have already picked out my book that I'm starting the year off with, but I just want to give you a bit of an example. So we'll pull out this one, for example. This is I Had Such Friends by Meg Gatland-Venice. So I would be reading that book. That's how that one works. Very self-explanatory. The series tin, however, is a little bit different. So we'll pull out a series. So I've pulled out Captive Prince by C.S. Pacat, and this one has a little 3 down the bottom, which means that there are 3 books in the series. So what I would do in this case, because I only own the first book, is I would read the first book, decide if I like it. If I like it, I will go to the library, or I will purchase books 2 and 3 and I will binge them. That's the plan with books that I have the first book in the series, or I have the first couple, but I don't own the rest of them. So also in this tin, I do have full series that I own, and basically the plan will be, so I'm the Throne of Glass series, for example, is in here. What I would do is if when I pull out Assassin's Blade, I would then binge the entire series, because I'm really into series binging and I hate that I haven't done that in a really long time. So that is the plan for this tin. That's the plan for the standalone tin. That's the plan for Jenna's TBR in 2021. I've already picked out my first read for the year. I pulled it from the standalone tin, and that read is Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. I'm starting that one on the 1st of January. Really, really looking forward to it. And I think this is just really going to help me in taking away that decision, making me really look at my shelves and force myself to finally read things on my shelves that I have had on here for years and years and years. I'm not going to stop buying books. Obviously, there are 2021 new releases coming out that I'm really, really excited about. And also, if I do start reading a series and absolutely love the first book and want to read the sequels, I am likely to buy them. That is the plan for 2021, and I'm really, really excited to see how it goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave it in the comment section below what you read in 2020 and what you think of my 2021 TBR goals, because I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.